What's going on, Facebook? It's Dennis. Sunday, August 26, 2018. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Tonight's topics. I'm going to talk about who the Jets starting quarterback should be on opening day versus the Lions. I'm going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to talk about the Giants. How much pressure is it on Eli Manning to lead the Giants to the playoffs this year? And also, my last topic, I'm going to talk about who I think is the most overrated team in the NFL. Okay. The first topic, the Jets. Who I think the Jets starting quarterback should be on opening day versus the Lions. I think their starting quarterback should be Teddy Bridgewater. But I know that they're going to go with Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback. They're going to go. All the reports that I've been reading is that he's going to start. It's nothing against Sam Darnold. I'm not saying that. Look, we all know Teddy Bridgewater, he's not the future. He's not going to be here long term. They drafted Sam Darnold with the pick that they had for a reason. He's their franchise quarterback. The Jets has been looking for a franchise quarterback for a while, and they finally found one. But the only thing I was saying is that if you're going to put Darnold in, you got to make sure the offensive line is there to protect him. You don't want to throw him to the fire and he goes out there and gets killed. Because the Jets have a shaky offensive line. At least with Teddy Bridgewater, he's a little bit mobile. He could move. Even though he's coming off a bad knee injury. And he hasn't played in a while. But I'm saying you start Teddy Bridgewater. It's not a quarterback controversy or to see who's better. Because Donald's going to be here for a long term. I look at it like this. With Teddy Bridgewater, you play him early and you increase his trade value. So a team that's looking for a starting quarterback is probably going to want Teddy Bridgewater. And look at how he's playing well. The Jets trade him by the trade deadline. That's all what this is about. And the Jets have they have an easy schedule this year. They don't have a tough schedule. And maybe week 1 at Detroit versus the Lions, they might lose that game. But after that, they play winnable games. I think week 2, they play the Dolphins at home. They could win that one. So they have that. And then in week 3, they go to Cleveland and play the Browns. And then week 4, they play on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think they can start off the season like 5-1. And I think Teddy Bridgewater can win those games. Because you have to remember, this is Todd Bowles and Mike Maccagnan's 4th year together as head coach / general manager. And the Jets can't afford to go 4-12 because they're not going to be here next year. No matter how much they like him, if the Jets go 4-12 this season, they're both going to be looking for new jobs. There's no way they're going to survive going 4-12, 5th year together, and the Jets don't make the playoffs. That's just not going to happen. So you start Teddy Bridgewater, even though I don't think they're going to do it, but that's what I would do. You start him, and then by trade deadline, you trade him, and then you have a winning record by then. Then you put Sam Darnold in. You can always put Sam Darnold in the game if Teddy's struggling. You can always put Darnold in the game. It's just that you gotta if Darnold's there, you gotta make sure he's ready. He's ready to go play. Because the way I look at it, if you start Darnold, things I look at. Can he command the offense? Does he understand it? Can he command the room? Like, can they listen to him? Like, can he be the leader? And also, can the offensive line protect him? And that's very important. Because, like I said, you don't want him to go out there and get killed. Because he's your investment. He's your future quarterback. You can't have him going out there and getting killed. So if he's going out there and getting killed, it's just not worth it. You need him for the future. So that's the only thing I was saying about this. It's not like this was some quarterback controversy and between Darnold and Bridgewater, because Darnold's here for the future. He's going to be here long term. Teddy's not in their plans. It's just I'm saying Teddy's good. He has experience, and you play him until probably like week 5, week 6, and then there's going to be a quarterback that gets hurt. That happens all the time. There's going to be a team starting quarterback that gets knocked out for the season or misses time, and they're going to need a quarterback. So you just trade Teddy Bridgewater there. It's not like he's bad. If Teddy Bridgewater wasn't on the Jets and if Darnold was there and it was a rebuilding season, I'm like, all right, just throw Darnold in there. You have nothing to lose. The Jets are rebuilding this shit, but that's not the case. Because the Jets actually have players on this team. They have players. They're not bad. On offense, Bilal Powell's good. He's a pretty good running back. Bobby Anderson's a pretty good wide receiver. On defense, Leonard Williams is the leader now on the defensive line. Not in Muhammad Wilkerson's on the Packers. He should be the leader of the defensive line now. This is his 4th season on the Jets. Jamal Adams, safety, who they drafted out of LSU last year in the first round, the 6th pick. He's a good player. And the Jets actually have a good defense overall. They have a good secondary. I like the pickup that they signed from the Los Angeles Rams, Tremaine Johnson, to play cornerback. So the Jets have a pretty good pretty good secondary. So Jets aren't a bad team. That's what I'm saying. You put Bridgewater in there, you win a couple of games, eat these games up, because you're trying to go to the playoffs. The Jets, the AFC's weak this year to me, in my opinion. The AFC's weak. The NFC's a stronger conference. The AFC is weak. So the Jets could sneak in there as a wild card. So you start Teddy Bridgewater, you win these games. These are winnable games. Maybe the first game at Detroit they might lose, no matter who's the quarterback. But after that, like I said, they play the Dolphins at home. They could win that game. Then they play the Browns in Week 3 in Cleveland. I think they could win that game. And they play the Jaguars Week 4. It's not that easy, but I think they could still win that game. So I'll start Bridgewater, but they're not going to do it. They're going to start Darnold. They think highly of him. They draft him high for a reason. Everybody thinks he's going to be a future superstar. So they're going to start Darnold in Week 1. But I'm just looking at it like, okay, Todd Bowles, Mike McCagnon, general manager, head coach. This is their 4th year together. You're trying to save your job. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they say that they think highly of Todd Bowles. They may like him, whatever. But if he goes 3-13 this season, the Jets, there's no way they're surviving. No way they're going to keep their jobs. Here in New York, you know how the fan base is with their sports teams. If you're struggling, they don't care. They always want change. They always want the next quarterback. They always want the next coach. That's just how it is with New York fans. So if you start Darnold, he has to be ready. You can't say, oh, this, and Jets go 4-12. With this schedule, no. I'll start Teddy Bridgewater. And then if he struggles, you can always put Darnold in. None against Darnold. I'm not against quarterbacks starting right away. Like, it depends on the situation and the player. And also, with Darnold, he went to USC at college. USC quarterbacks usually don't play well in the NFL level. They play well in college. They don't play well in the NFL level. But Darnold looks like he's going to be the real deal. But you got to make sure that he's ready. And make sure the offensive line protects him. That's important. You don't want him to go out there and get killed. Andrew Luck is better than Sam Darnold. But Andrew Luck started from day one. But his offensive line was bad. And he just kept getting injured. That's why he got that kidney injury last year. He's been battling that injury for a while. And he didn't play last season. He was out for the whole season. But Andrew Luck is a different kind of cat. He's a different kind of animal. He's on another level. But he was getting killed. And you don't want to do this to this kid. You don't want to do it to Sam Darnold. You don't want him to get killed. So at least Teddy Bridgewater has mobility a little bit. He can move. But I'm not against. If Darnold's ready, all right, start him. I'm just saying it's a winnable schedule. You want to increase Teddy Bridgewater's value. You start him and you trade him. You get something good back in return. Because how are you going to trade? How could he get trade value if you don't play him? So I'm saying you let Bridgewater play for a couple of games. These are winnable games. I'm going to look quickly at their schedule, the Jets' schedule to start off. All right. They play the Lions in Week 1. Like I said, they might lose that game. Week 2, they play the Dolphins. I think they're going to win that game. Week 3, the Browns. Even though I think the Browns got better, I think the Jets could still win that game. Week 4, against the Jaguars, that's iffy. Week 5, at home versus the Broncos, I think they can win that game. And then Week 6, I think even though Andrew Luck is back, I think they can win that one at home. So you could start off 4-2. I think with Teddy Bridgewater in the lineup that they could win those games, and then you could trade him 4-2 and then let Darnold take over. That's how I'm looking at it. It's just that if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm Mike McCagnon, I'm trying to save my job. I don't care what people are saying, and they're saying that his job is safe and they believe in him and all that stuff. No, it's 4 years. You think they're gonna really keep Todd Bowles for a fifth year if the Jets go like 4-12, 5-11 again like last year. No, last year Jets didn't have expectations. People were predicting it. Like I looked at like websites like USA Today and saying that Jets are gonna like go like 1-15, like 0-16. They're not gonna win a game, and they overachieved. They won 5-11. But this year, no one's predicting the Jets to go 0-16, so they can't go have a terrible record. To me, for Todd Bowles and Mike McCagnon to come back next season, I think the Jets has to win at least 8 games, especially with this schedule. Win at least 8 games. Even if you don't make the playoffs, go 8-8. And that's how I think they could keep their job. With this winnable schedule, I think they could. I think they could win games. But I would start Teddy Bridgewater myself over Sam Darnold. It's not no controversy. It's not to see who's the better player. It's just that Teddy Bridgewater, he's not old, and you try to increase his trade value, and also you want to try to get these win. You want to win. You want to give person with the best chance to win, and Bridgewater I think can give them the best chance to win right now. So I think that's the case. I think the Jets can make the playoffs this year. I'm gonna do my playoff preview probably like next week and preview everything. But I think the Jets can make the playoffs. I think they can get like the 6th seed in the AFC and get a wild card spot. I think they can. I think they can get a wild card spot this year. That's just me. They're not gonna start Teddy Bridgewater. They're gonna start to Sam Darnold. I know that's what they're gonna do. So it is what it is. I don't have a problem with it. It's just that I'm just thinking of it. Bridgewater has experience. He's not bad, and he's trying to save your job. But they're gonna go with Darnold. All right. My next topic: can Eli Manning lead the Giants to the playoffs this year? How much pressure is it on Eli Manning to bring the Giants to the playoffs? Look, football is the ultimate team sport. One man can't literally carry a team like basketball player can. But a lot of people are saying Eli looks done. He can't play. I'm not gonna lie. Eli didn't play that well last year, but the whole team didn't play well. It's impossible if they can't block for you and receivers dropping the ball. What can you do? It's not your fault. Like Eli threw some nice passes, he threw some bad passes, he threw some nice passes, and it was flat out drops. Like Brandon Marshall. That's why Brandon Marshall's not here anymore. Evan Ingram dropped the ball a lot. It was just a disaster last season. Ben McAdoo just didn't coach well. The team was a mess. And that team was expected to win like 10, 11 games. And it was just everybody just kept getting hurt. Odell got hurt. Brandon Marshall got hurt. People on the offensive line got hurt. It was just crazy. But the Giants are a different team now this year. They drafted Saquon Barkley with the number 2 overall pick, the running back from Penn State. They improved the offensive line. They moved Eric Flowers to right tackle instead of being a left tackle. That's why they picked up Nate Solder from the Patriots to play the left tackle position. So they're trying to improve the offensive line. They still got the skill position players there. Like I said, Saquon Barkley they drafted. Sterling Shepard they still have. Evan Ingram. So the Giants, and Odell's coming back. So the Giants should look really, really good on offense this year. I think there's kind of is pressure on Eli. And that sounds crazy because he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. But I said with this team, improve the offensive line. If the offensive line could protect Eli, I think they could play well. Because Eli needs protection. I still think he could make some nice throws. Like in the playoffs, the year before when the Giants went to the playoffs and they lost to the Packers in the wild card round, you know how much drop passes Giants had in that game? Eli threw the ball well. They just couldn't catch the ball. Sterling Shepard couldn't catch the ball. Odell Beckham couldn't catch the ball. It wasn't on Eli. But I think it's kind of pressure on Eli. Because if he has another bad year, then everybody's going to like, all right, he should retire. Or the Giants are probably going to draft a quarterback in the next year's draft in the first round. They're going to do it this time. They probably just want to give Eli a chance and see how it goes with a team. But if they have this team and he struggles, then they're going to draft a quarterback in the first round next year. They are. That's what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with Eli. I don't know if he's going to retire or whatever, but they're going to draft another quarterback if he struggles. They might still draft another quarterback anyway in for the future because Eli might retire soon, so he get old. They have one because I don't think their future quarterback is on the Giants roster. I don't think David Webb is their future or any other quarterbacks that they have. So they're gonna draft one in the first round, I think, next year, in next year's draft. Look, the Giants, their schedule is not as easy as the Jets. I went over the Jets schedule in my first topic. The Giants schedule is a different case. It's a different animal. They play the Jaguars week 1 at home. I said this in my Facebook Live video, like my 2 videos ago. The Giants, they play Jaguars week 1. That's like a playoff game. I know that sounds crazy. It's week 1. I said that's a playoff game for week 1. The reason why I think it's a playoff game is because their schedule is hard. If they don't beat the Jaguars, I'm gonna go over the Giants like first 8 games of their schedule. But if they don't beat the Jaguars in week 1 at home in the opener, then they could possibly go like 0-6. And if you start off the season 0-6 in the NFL, you can kiss your playoff hopes goodbye. Hard to make the playoffs. It's only 16 games you play, so it's hard to make the playoffs if you start the season 0-6. And the way the Giants' schedule looks, that's what it's set up. The schedule makers weren't too kind to the Giants. They weren't. All right. Week 1, like I said, they play the Jaguars. Then week 2, they got to travel to Dallas and play the Cowboys. Then they got to play the Texans, who I think is going to be a real serious team this year. They're going to go to Houston and play the Texans. Then they're at home, they play Drew Brees and the Saints. Then they play the Panthers on the road in Carolina. Then they come home and play the defending Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. That's a brutal schedule to start. So if they lose to the Jaguars, then they got all these hard teams. They can start the season 0-6. And then they play the Falcons in Atlanta. You know the Falcons can light up the scoreboard. That's week 7. And then they play at home against the Redskins. The Giants could start the season 0-7. So you have to they have to play week 1 like it's the Super Bowl. They have to win that game. I think they are going to win that game. The Jaguars, well, they're going to lead into my next topic, which I think is the most overrated team in the NFL. I think the Jaguars is the most overrated team in the NFL. That's for my next topic. But that's the team who the Giants play in week 1, and I think that the Giants could beat them. I think the Giants could beat them. The thing with the Jaguars is that they have a really elite defense all over the board. Their defensive line is tremendous. Last year, the defensive end, Calais Campbell, I thought he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, but he didn't get it. I think he led the team in sacks. He had double-digit sacks. I don't know how much the exact number he had in sacks. I don't know if he had 14 sacks last season, but he had a lot. That defense is crazy. And in that matchup in week 1, he's going to be across from him on the Giants is Eric Flowers, who's a terrible offensive lineman. He has to try to block Calais Campbell the whole game. That's a nightmare. So I don't know how that's going to work. But the Jaguars' defense is tremendous. They could get after the quarterback. They got fast, athletic linebackers. It's just crazy. The whole linebacking core is crazy. Telvin Smith, they're athletic. Their defense is good. So the Giants are going to be in a battle in week 1, but I still think they could beat the Jaguars in week 1. And that's the only team that could possibly beat in week 1 in that schedule. Because their schedule is brutal. Like I said, they got to go to Dallas in week 2. Then week 3, they play the Texans at home, on the road in Houston. Then they got to play at home against Drew Brees and the Saints. Then they got to go against Cam Newton and the Panthers. Then be at home against the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl. That's a tough schedule. So you don't want to start the season 0-6. You don't want to do that. No team in the NFL goes to the playoffs starting off 0-6. So that game against the Jaguars in week 1 is basically a playoff game. It's like a Super Bowl. You have to get off. That game is so important early in the season. If you want to look on the NFL schedule, the Jaguars, Giants, that's like the most important game. The Giants' schedule is not as easy compared to the Jets. So the Giants have to play really well. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be fun to see the week 1. You already have Jalen Ramsey talking already. So he's already talking a lot. Then Odell comes back healthy. I know Odell can't wait to come back on the field because he's injured himself last year. And he's anxious to get back on the field. Like I went to the preseason game on Friday. He didn't play, but I saw him on the sideline. He just can't wait to go. I know he wants to go after Jalen Ramsey. He wants to get at him. So that's gonna be fun to watch. It's just gonna be real fun. The Giants got playmakers on offense, so it's gonna be interesting. Even though Jalen Ramsey talks a lot, I don't even think he was the best cornerback on their team. AJ Bouye was. He only get like the only time I actually seen him give up a touchdown was in the playoffs when Antonio Brown scored on him. He actually doesn't get as much credit as Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey gets all the attention, but AJ Bouye is pretty good. He's pretty good. But I think the Giants could win that game. I think they are. It's probably going to be low scoring. It's probably going to be something like 16-13, maybe like 17-10, 17-13, whatever, something like that, 13-10. It's going to be a defensive struggle. It's going to be a battle. I don't think no one's going to score 20 points in that game. Neither team, the Jaguars or the Giants. It's going to be a defensive grind. I actually want that to happen because with these new rules in the NFL, the stupid helmet rule that they have, that's like taking defense out of the game because I don't know how you can't hit with your helmet. Let's say, for example, you're on the goal line. The offensive player, you're in the goal line formation, you're at the goal line. The offensive players are going to use their helmet. If you run the ball, you're doing a quarterback sneak, you're going to use your helmet. So I don't know how the refs are going to officiate this. They better not officiate it like they did in the first 2 weeks of the preseason because that's going to be a nightmare. I don't want to see it. You already have players complaining about it already. This target rule. They got the target rule from NCAA. They got it from college football. That's where they got the targeting rule from. I think it's stupid. There's no way you can. It's impossible for a defender to hit somebody. That's why everybody in the preseason looks so good offensively because you can't touch no one anymore. You can't. You barely could touch somebody on offense. I don't want to see the refs. It has to be something really, really crazy for a defender to do something for a ref to throw a flag. I don't want to see it. It was ridiculous. It was like 51 flags about the helmet rule in the first 2 weeks of the preseason. That's ridiculous. I don't want to see it. This Jaguars-Giants game is probably going to be physical because Jaguars are a physical team defensively. So I don't want to see old-fashioned football. I don't want to see too much flags with that. If you want to call it something else, but I don't want to see flag with the targeting rule because you can't touch nobody. Sometimes it's just the game is too fast and it's just impossible. They've been playing football their whole life. They're trained to play a certain way. Now they gotta adjust. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but that's gonna be a good game. But the Giants gotta win. If they lose that game, they might go start the season 0-6. Their schedule is hard. It's hard. I read the schedule. The schedule is hard. So that's what it is. So the Giants gonna have to win that game. Eli has pressure to perform. He does. The team's improved. The key is if the offensive line can hold up, he's gonna have a good season. Because the Giants football is about creating mismatches, and the Giants could create a mismatch on any play. Barkley come out of the backfield could create a mismatch. Odell can create a mismatch. Red Ellison can create a mismatch. It's about creating mismatches. That's what the Giants have. They can create mismatches on any play. More than any team in the league. They can create a mismatch on offense. So, I think it's pressure for Eli to play well. Last year he didn't play well, but I'm not going to say it's his whole fault because the team didn't play well. Eric Flowers is a disaster. Brandon Marshall, that's why he's not here no more. He can't catch the ball. It was just crazy. They had no running game because they couldn't run block. Their running block schemes were terrible. And they have no running backs. That's why they drafted Barkley. So, it is pressure for Eli to play well. If he plays well and they don't make the playoffs, football's an ultimate team sport. It's not like basketball we can control and dominate the game. Football's an ultimate team sport. So if he plays well and they don't make the playoffs, there's nothing he can do. But if they don't make the playoffs and he plays bad, then they're definitely going to draft a quarterback in the next draft. They are, regardless. They might still draft one regardless because Eli is declining. But they're going to draft a quarterback in next year's draft because they don't believe that any of the quarterbacks that's on the roster is their future. Davis Webb is not their future. So they're going to draft a quarterback in next year's draft. But I'm not worried about Eli overall. I'm just worried about that schedule. That schedule is tough. And if they have a losing record, it's going to make it look like he's not playing well. But that schedule is brutal. It really is. It's crazy. It's a crazy schedule. All right. Who I think is the most overrated team in the NFL? Well, I was already talking about them already. I said the Jaguars are overrated. Defensively, they're great. But like I said, the reason why the Jaguars made the playoffs last year because everybody on the Texans got hurt. Everybody on the Texans got hurt. Now they're all coming back healthy. All of them. And I like the addition of Tyrann Mathieu. And Adoree Jackson as a cornerback. They have a good secondary. They have lethal pass rushers. Jadeveon Clowney looks like he's going to play like how he did in college. Because the first couple of years, people thought he was going to be a bust. And it was actually like, I remember that 2014 draft when Jadeveon Clowney got drafted number 1 overall from South Carolina. When there was this guy named Khalil Mack. I don't know if anybody heard of him. He's really good in the NFL. People were laughing like, oh, should he go number 1 overall? It's because of the school he went to. Because he went to Buffalo. So people were laughing like, Buffalo? Now look, who has the better career? Khalil Mack or Jadeveon Clowney? You would say Khalil Mack. So Jadeveon Clowney, last year showed signs that he's not going to be a bust. So you have him. You have Merciless. You have Watt. That's scary. To me, before Aaron Donald, I thought J.J. Watt was the best defensive lineman in the league. I still think he is. Aaron Donald is really good. But J.J. Watt, the thing with him is that he was scoring on defense. Defensive linemen scoring on defense at will was just crazy. So you have him. You have Watt. You have Watt, Clowney, and Merciless. That's scary. So I think that's the reason why. I think the reason why the Jaguars made the playoffs last year because everybody in the Texans got hurt. The reason why I think the Texans are overall better than the Jags is because offensively they're better. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the most underrated wide receivers in football. Look at what he's done. The numbers he puts up is great, and you can't name before Deshaun Watson got drafted. You can't name a quarterback, a good one that he played with. He's putting up numbers with mediocre guys. Matt Shaw, Brandon Weeden, T.J. Yates. So imagine having a real quarterback throwing him the football like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was like setting records as a rookie before he got hurt. I think he threw like 19 touchdown passes in like 6 games before he tore his ACL. That's ridiculous. The Texans are going to win that division. And I think they're going to go to the AFC Championship game. Maybe they might not go and the Steelers going, but I know the Texans are going to be better than the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are overrated. I don't think Blake Bortles is good. I don't think he's good at all. Yeah, they won against the Bills in the playoffs, but he didn't play well. He played awful. He couldn't complete a 5-yard screen pass. I'll give him credit against how he played against the Steelers in the divisional round, but I don't like to take credit away from anybody. He played well, but the Steelers' defense is just hopeless. It really is. Ryan Shazier injured himself. The team is hopeless on the defensive side of the ball. They're old. They never improved their secondary. They got Joe Hayden, and that hasn't done nothing. So the Jaguars are just moving the ball on the Steelers last year in the playoffs in the divisional round at will. The Steelers still had a chance to win that game. I think it was a debate. It was a questionable coaching call Mike Tomlin did last year in the playoffs about punting the ball late in the game, giving the Jaguars back. I think they had 1 timeout left. It was a little bit over the 2-minute warning, but they decided to go for it, and it didn't work. And then Tomlin got criticized for it. And they were saying, all right, punt the ball to the Jaguars. They're not going to trust Blake Bortles to make a play. They're going to run all 3 down to stop him and get the ball back. And Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown could win the game with 1 play. But they decided to go for it and it didn't work. But in Tomlin's defense, the reason why they didn't punt the ball, even though they had 1 timeout, they didn't punt the ball because they couldn't stop the Jaguars all day. That's why he didn't do it. So I can see it there. People can always criticize somebody after it didn't work. So no one was thinking about, oh, why didn't Mike Tomlin punt the ball? Why did he go for it? They did it after because it didn't work. But if it worked, he would look like a genius. So that's how it is with football. If it doesn't work, you look like a fool. If it works, you're a genius. So that's the situation he got caught up in. But back to the Jaguars. They're good, really good defensively. I think that they were the best team on defense last season, even better than the Vikings. Because the Jaguars, they got guys like I said, AJ Bouye who locks people up. They have fast, athletic linebackers. Telvin Smith, last year in the playoffs, he picked up a fumble recovery, like at the 47-yard line, returned it for a touchdown. The way he ran for that touchdown, I swear he looked like a wide receiver. He has wide receiver speed and he's a linebacker. They have athletic guys all over the place. The Jaguars have a really good defense. The offensive side of the ball, I don't trust. I don't trust Bortles, and they don't have no skill. Fournette, he's good. I don't trust any other wide receivers. They don't have Allen Hurns no more. They don't have Allen Robinson. Allen Hurns is on the Cowboys. Allen Robinson is on the Bears. So who do they have? D.D. Westbrook is pretty good. But I don't think they're going to the playoffs this year. I think the Texans are going to win the division. I think the Texans are going to be the only team in the AFC South to go to the playoffs. I don't think the Titans are going to go to the playoffs. I think they overachieved. And the Colts, Luck is, I always defend Luck. Luck is a great player. You want to talk about carrying teams? He carried teams. First 3 years, the Colts win total and kept increasing. With no offensive line, they traded for Trent Richardson, who was a bust. And the only real good wide receiver they have is T.Y. Hilton. But he's just fast, though. He doesn't really have any moves. He's just fast. And no one else can catch the ball. But he kept carrying them to the playoffs. But he just kept running to the Patriots because the Patriots had a better overall team. But I don't know if the Colts are going to go make the playoffs. But if they do, Luck is just too great. So I think the Texans are going to win the division. I think the AFC is weak. I really do. I think the AFC is weak. It's the Texans, Steelers, and Patriots. Who else is in the AFC? The Dolphins and Bills. Okay, you know they're not going to the playoffs, so you can get rid of them. All right, look at the AFC North. The Steelers go in the playoffs. All right, Ravens, no. Bengals, no. Browns, no. Eliminate them. Like I said, the AFC South, I did my teams already. Titans, Jaguars, and Colts not going to the playoffs. AFC West, I think the Chargers will win that division. The Broncos are not going to the playoffs. Raiders, maybe next year they might go to the playoffs. And the Chiefs, maybe they might go to the playoffs, but I don't think so. So AFC is weak. It's weak. That's why I said that the Jets couldn't go to the playoffs this year. But if you want to say by default, fine. The AFC is weak compared to the NFC. It really is. It's weak compared to the NFC. NFC is like 9 deep, 10 deep. The AFC has 3 good teams. Maybe 4. If you want to say Kansas City is a good team. But Andy Reid, how many times is he going to keep losing playoff games when he's the favorite? You know who he reminds me of? Andy Reid reminds me of, he's like the NFL's version of, it's a manager in baseball who used to manage named Dusty Baker, who could just never get over the hump. He just kept getting snake bit. He managed the Giants, cost Barry Bonds a ring, because he made that ridiculous move in the 2002 World Series versus the Angels. Cost Barry Bonds a ring. The Giants were up 3-2 in that World Series, and they ended up losing because Dusty Baker made a bad manager decision. I think he was Russ Ortiz. Russ Ortiz was the starting pitcher. And he screwed it up. So ever since that day, Dusty Baker's been snake bit. And with the Nationals, he just kept having bad luck. So that's who Andy Reid reminds me of. He reminds me of Dusty Baker of the NFL. So I got to see to believe it with the Chiefs. You know, the other night, I saw Patrick Mahomes, who they drafted last year. He threw a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. I swear to God, it was like at least 50 yards in the air. I mean, in the air before it landed. That thing was just crazy. And then Tyreek Hill just flew by 3 defenders and scored. So Chiefs might be a little bit under the radar. But I still think it's 3 teams. I think it's Texans, Steelers, and Patriots, and nobody else in the AFC. And I don't think the Jaguars are going to the playoffs. I think it was fool's gold. I don't think they're going to the playoffs. I respect their defense. All aspects of the defense. Because you don't have that much teams in the NFL that have all good units on the defensive side of the ball. Some teams might have a good safety, secondary, but they don't have a good defensive line. They don't have a good pass rush. They can't stop the run. Some teams have good linebackers, but they don't have a good secondary. The Jaguars have a good defensive line. They have good linebackers, and they have a good secondary. It's just the offensive side of the ball. I don't have no faith in. I don't have no faith in it on the offensive side of the ball. I think the Texans are going to win the division. I think the Jaguars are overrated. I think they're the most overrated team in the NFL. They made the playoffs because everybody on the Texans got hurt. That's why they made the playoffs. Because everybody on the Texans got hurt. So they're the most overrated team in the NFL. The most overrated team, in my opinion. I think they're the most overrated team in the NFL. So, yeah, so those are the 3 topics. I'm just waiting for my do a full video because I want to break down who I think is going to go to the playoffs in every conference. Predict who's going to win the divisions, who's going to win the wild card, who's going to meet in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm going to do. This is I'm finishing up these preseason games. And week 3, to me, week 3 is the best part of the preseason in the NFL because that's when the starters play the whole half and they go into like the third quarter. Week 4, no one plays. No one plays in week 4. No one's going to get dressed. No one's going to play in week 4. You're not going to see your favorite players. You're not going to see any starters. No one plays in week 4. So week 3 is the last time the starters play. And that feels like a real game. It feels like a regular season game. Because when I went to the Giants-Jets game on Friday night, there was a lot of people there. And it felt like a real game. So week 3 is the best. So the Cardinals and Cowboys are playing right now. So that's the last game of week 3 of the preseason. And week 4, everybody plays on Thursday. And then get ready for the season. Season starts September 6th. The Falcons play the Eagles in the season opener. That's a good game. That's a good way to start. The NFL always knows what they're doing with the schedule. They do. They're the best sport when it comes to schedule making the schedule. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So that's pretty much it. If I see anything new, I'll make a video about it. But I'm gonna definitely after my next video is gonna be I'm gonna make playoff. Until I'm gonna do my playoff predictions. I'll do my playoff preview. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna call it a night. So August 26, 2018 is 10:07 Eastern Time, 7:07 Pacific. Everybody watching on Facebook, everybody have a good, safe night. Peace.